What if you woke up tomorrow and your entire life had vanished? Not the world, not your body, just you. You reach for your phone, but the names, the faces, the messages, they all feel like they belong to someone else. You look in the mirror, and for the first time, your own reflection feels alien. You panic. You try to remember your childhood, your friends, your favorite songs, but nothing sticks. And then the most horrifying thought hits you. You know this life is yours. You know this body belongs to you, yet your mind refuses to confirm it because something deep inside has decided you're better off forgetting. So how does this happen? How does the human mind, a structure evolved over millions of years to preserve memory, simply erase itself? No accident, no stroke, no disease, just a sudden collapse of identity, a complete shutdown of memories tied to who you are. This terrifying phenomenon is known as psychogenic amnesia, sometimes called dissociative amnesia. A rare condition where the mind deletes memories in response to psychological trauma. But why? Why would your brain destroy the very thing that makes you, you? To answer that, we need to journey into the darkest corners of the human mind, into trauma, memory, and the fragile architecture of identity itself. Segment 1. The mind's emergency shutdown. Your brain isn't just a storage device for memories, it's a survival machine. And sometimes survival doesn't mean remembering, it means erasing. Psychogenic amnesia is not caused by physical injury. No part of your brain is damaged. Instead, it is triggered by extreme psychological stress, events so intense that the mind cannot process them without breaking. Imagine a person witnessing something utterly unbearable. The sudden death of a loved one, a violent attack, or even the chronic torment of abuse. The emotional shock is so severe that the brain goes into emergency mode. Like a computer overheating, it powers down certain systems to prevent permanent damage. But unlike a computer, the brain doesn't just shut off, it deletes. Not randomly, but selectively. Memories linked to trauma are blocked or erased. Sometimes the erasure is so extreme that it affects the very sense of identity, creating what's called a fugue state. In a fugue state, people can wake up in an entirely different city, sometimes even assuming a new identity, while their past self remains lost, invisible, unreachable. Imagine leaving behind everything you've known without a single clue about who you were or why. That's the terrifying reality for some sufferers. Segment 2. The science of forgetting. Memory is not a perfect recording. It's a reconstruction, a constantly shifting narrative your mind rewrites every time you recall a moment. Every memory you hold is filtered through emotion, context, and repetition. It is not objective. It is not fixed. And under ordinary circumstances, this is a survival feature. It allows you to adapt, to learn, to grow. But under extreme stress, this delicate architecture begins to fracture. The brain's fear center, the amygdala, lights up like a storm warning. Simultaneously, the hippocampus, the region tasked with organizing, cataloging, and storing memories, begins to malfunction. What was once a coherent timeline of your life becomes a shattered mosaic. Fragments of events float unanchored, disconnected from cause or meaning. Faces appear familiar but unplaceable. Places feel eerily like home, yet unknown. Emotions surge without explanation. And here's the most terrifying part. The memories are not destroyed, they are buried. Behind layers of psychological defenses, they are locked away in compartments your conscious mind cannot open. This is not forgetting. It is a deliberate, protective mechanism, a last-ditch attempt by the mind to preserve sanity. It is as if your brain whispers, "This is too much. You cannot survive this memory, so I will lock it away." The consequences are profound. These hidden memories do not simply vanish, they leak into the body and behavior. You may wake in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, gripped by panic, without knowing why. You may react with fear or rage to situations that seem harmless. You may feel a deep sadness, a hollow ache that has no apparent source. Your body remembers what your mind refuses to acknowledge. In the most extreme cases, the mind does not only hide memories, it fragments identity itself. People may fail to recognize their own reflection, unable to connect the face in the mirror with the person they believe themselves to be. They may forget the names of children, spouses, or lifelong friends. Even their own history, the story that defines who they are, can vanish entirely. Psychologists call this identity amnesia, a condition so disorienting that survivors often describe it as living inside a body that feels simultaneously familiar and alien. It is a chilling reminder. The mind, in its attempt to protect itself, can erase the very essence of what makes us human. Segment 3. The disturbing history and real cases. The phenomenon of psychogenic amnesia is not just theoretical. History is full of cases that read like psychological horror. One of the most striking examples occurred in 2004. A woman was found wandering in a small town, disoriented, unable to remember her name, her past, or where she came from. She carried no identification, no phone, nothing to connect her to the world. Doctors ran tests, neurological scans were normal, no brain damage, yet psychologically, she was fractured. She called herself Jane Doe. For weeks, she existed in a liminal space between memory and oblivion, between past and present. Slowly, fragments returned, flashes of faces, echoes of voices, emotions she could not explain. It turned out that Jane had suffered prolonged, intense trauma. Her mind had built a protective wall around her memories. In doing so, it had erased the very sense of self. Another case from the early 20th century involved a man named Ansel Bourne, who in 1887 disappeared from his home in Rhode Island and later turned up miles away, living under a new identity. He had no memory of his previous life for several months. His story became one of the first documented cases of dissociative fugue, and it continues to baffle psychologists to this day. Cases like these reveal something profound and unsettling. Psychogenic amnesia is not random. It is precise, strategic, and often terrifyingly effective. The brain will go to almost any lengths to protect itself, even if that means erasing who you are. The twist and application. Now here's where it becomes personal. You might not have psychogenic amnesia. You might never wander a strange city with no past. But your mind is already performing similar acts on a smaller, subtler scale. Have you ever suppressed a memory of a painful argument only for it to resurface years later? Forgotten a traumatic moment until triggered unexpectedly? Blocked out embarrassing events so completely that even recalling them feels impossible? That is micro-forgetting, the everyday version of what extreme trauma does on a massive scale. Your mind selectively protects itself, rewriting the past to preserve your emotional balance. Every time you push a memory into the shadows, you're practicing the same defense mechanism your brain employs in psychogenic amnesia. You are hiding what hurts, softening what terrifies, erasing in small ways pieces of yourself. This realization is unsettling. If the brain can hide small truths from you, what else could it be hiding? What memories are lurking in the dark, waiting to resurface in dreams, in flashes, or in emotions you cannot explain? The line between conscious and unconscious memory is thinner than you think, and every suppressed moment is a shadow of the mind's capacity for self-protection and self-deception. And here's the deeper, darker question. If the mind can erase memories to protect itself, could it also fabricate memories? Could it implant entire experiences that never happened? Memories that feel as real as your own childhood, your own relationships, your own fears. False memories, constructed realities, entire mental worlds that exist without physical truth. The human mind is capable of astonishing things. It can forget, it can block, it can hide, it can even create. And sometimes it does all of this without your awareness. The line between reality and illusion, between memory and imagination, is thinner than you dare to imagine.